being said, it sounds like the crux of this bill is to give Joe Biden power to shut down websites. Listen, do I think TikTok's great? No. My kids are probably on it way too often. And when you hear about what TikTok is offering our children, it's a lot of garbage. You heard about this? If you go to China and see what the kids in China are being offered, it's like engineering concepts and how to be successful and things that are growing their imagination and mind. Here, it's like people, doing stupid stunts, jumping off buildings, breaking legs, doing really crazy things. It's dumbing down our generation of young people while they're building up their people. And so I think we need to look at these algorithms, especially when we find out these algorithms are designed to destroy our young generation. China is trying to destroy us. I don't think I need to tell you that, right? Between the fentanyl crisis, of course the cartels are in on that because the cartels will go anywhere they can make money. In a sad way, they're diabolically brilliant. They want to make money. But where are the ingredients from fentanyl coming from? They're coming from China. China is sending them over. President Trump wants to use the Coast Guard to interdict them right out there in the water and stop it before it hits Mexico. Because when it hits Mexico, they're going to start mixing up these pills and killing the young generation. So either they're going to kill our young generation with pills, or they're going to go after their minds. And in some ways, when you go after their minds, it's worse. They're both bad. But so I'm not a fan of TikTok, but I'm more concerned about Joe Biden, because Joe Biden is owned by the CCP. He's owned by everybody except America, and he frankly doesn't give a damn about America. And I know that for a fact, because what he did on day one of his administration, pulling back a border policy that worked to keep us safe. At the same time, he pulled back an incredible energy policy that had us energy independent. He wants us to be reliant on Iran. He wants us to be reliant on the Middle East for oil and on Venezuela. And he's just a complete nightmare. So I think we do need to look at some of these sites if they're run by our adversaries. And I don't believe this bill is the right bill. I wish it were simple as to say sign it. Oh boy, we got so many people. I'm going to go with the cowboy in the back.
I know that you're a big advocate of free speech, because I'm very grateful for it. So my question, can you hear me? Should I do the mic?
You look like you should be louder. Come on, get louder.
I know you're a big advocate for free speech. So I was wondering, are you planning on debating Sheriff Mark Lamb?
I'd be happy to. This has been the biggest lie. Like, she won't debate.
I know I look like him, but
you might be more handsome. Okay, do you guys think I'm afraid of a debate? I will debate Ruben Gallego right now, at this table, at that table, at that table. Guys, yeah, Ruben is a win. I know where this race is. We've got polling. I'm up 30 and 40 points. And I like Mark. I think Sheriff Lamb's great. We have 7 months to save our country. My opponent is Joe Biden and a little guy named Ruben Gallego. Okay? I have 7 months to go after those two. I'm not going to go after people I don't need to go after. And I don't feel I need to go after Sheriff Lamb. Sheriff Lamb's a great man of law enforcement. I appreciate the work he's doing. This is a massive race. This is a $250 million race for Senate. I wish it wasn't a $250,000 race. You got to have more than 100,000 in the bank to win this one, because we are up against Soros. George Soros and his son just endorsed Ruben Gallego today. Did you see that? I mean, I wouldn't be caught dead, literally. I would not be caught dead and decomposed next to Soros. But Ruben stood there and smiled next to him. He was endorsed by Hillary. He's got the deep state money coming at him. And so we got to have somebody who can raise some money to run this election. That's who I am. We got to have somebody who's got the strength of a Trump endorsement. I'm endorsed by all of the fighters in the Senate. Mike Lee. I'm endorsed by Rand Paul. I'm endorsed by Ted Cruz. And I'm endorsed by people who are kind of a little bit more in the moderate side as well. We're going to win this race, and I don't think I need to spend a lot of time debating Sheriff Lamb. Love the guy. He's a great law enforcement guy. But I think my time is better spent, I think you would agree, going after the true enemy, which is a Marxist named Ruben Gallego, and Joe Biden. So I've said I'm not afraid of a debate. As a matter of fact, I love a debate. And throw me any question you want here today. I will debate Ruben Gallego anytime, anywhere. I will debate Mark Lamb as long as it's an AZ GOP sanctioned debate. Then we'll debate. But I don't think I need to run around Arizona and tell the people of Arizona where I stand. I think you all know where I stand. I'm America first. There's a reason President Trump endorsed me the second I announced I was running. There's a reason he wants me in the U.S. Senate. He's got to have backup. And I hope that, Mark Lamb will stay as sheriff. We've got major election fraud that happened. Guess what? Not just in Maricopa County. You guys hear about what happened in Pinal County? I mean, they were run so poorly. They ran out of paper. They ran out of Republican ballots only. Minutes into the election. And then the woman who ran the election skipped town. And they paid her off. Now, I really hope that Sheriff Lamb will, jump in there and investigate that. I'm not a sheriff. I can't investigate election fraud. I can tell you how they stole it, but we got to have strong sheriffs to investigate it. And I hope he'll get on the ball and investigate that. Unfortunately, he did go to D.C. and sat before Congress, and this disappoints me greatly. I don't even want to tell you this. He told Congress that the 2020 election had no fraud and Joe Biden won. That sounds like someone who's been co-opted. How many of you in here think Joe Biden won 81 million votes? Raise your hand if Joe Biden won 81 million votes. Do you think that?
No.
Unfortunately, Sheriff Lamb thinks that. And that's one of the reasons I said I have to run. We cannot have somebody in the U.S. Senate who thinks the 2020 election was on the up and up. That thing was rotten to the core. And 2020 was rotten to the core. And I hope that he will start investigating the crimes that happened in Pinal County, because he's one of the few people that has the authority to do that. So if the AZ GOP sanctioned a debate, I'll show up and I'll get there early. I'll stay late and I'll debate him all day.
I'm his bodyguard.
Yeah. Are you his bodyguard? No, I'm answering that because they're putting it out that Kari's afraid of a debate. I'm not afraid of anything. Occasionally a bug will make me scream. Occasionally a bug running across the floor might make me scream, but I'm not afraid of anything. Let's go with the man in red and then the beautiful blonde back here.
You've been in media for a long, long time, and I miss you. But that being said, what is it that we can do about censorship in the media and the social media, the big tech? What can be done? Because I see that that's a really big problem with our
Censorship. Our First Amendment is the most important amendment. If we don't have it, we're not free people. And we are watching as our voices are being taken. The ability for us to speak out. It's happening really bad in Arizona. As a matter of fact, I'm being sued right now for speaking out. I call it an anti-First Amendment case, a censorship case. They're saying defamation. Because I told you what happened in Maricopa County. I laid out how they stole that election. The people who ran that election are suing me, just like they're suing Trump. They're trying to take my little cabin in Pine from me, my home in Phoenix. They want every dollar and penny I have in my bank account. And this is the people who ran our elections. They don't want us talking about elections. They went after Rudy Giuliani. They've taken everything from Rudy Giuliani. The people who speak out, they're going to come after. And these same people who ran our elections were part of these, I call them truth squads, which working with CISA, they were taking down our Twitter pages. If you started speaking out about COVID and saying, hey, I took ivermectin, it worked, they were taking you down. If you started saying, hey, look at these elections aren't being run right, there's something wrong, or something really smells in Maricopa County, they were calling Twitter and having you removed from Twitter. These same people are the ones running our elections and trying to take away our First Amendment. There's a reason that's our first right. A freedom of religion, religious freedom, and a freedom of speech. And if we don't have that, we are nothing. And so I'm going to work tirelessly to fight for that. I'm working in the courts right now. They're coming after my freedom of speech. I told them they're going to have to cut my tongue out to get me to shut up. Don't get any ideas, anybody. And so I'm absolutely 100% for our freedom of speech. And that means speech we don't agree with. But let's face it, we've been listening to a lot of speech we don't agree with because the left kind of constantly spews out their craziness and we have to listen to it. The minute we say, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense, how about this? How about we only have 2 genders? Okay, they want to censor us. How about there's something wrong in the election when we show up on election day and 60% of the polling locations in Republican areas don't work? We want to censor you. They want to censor us, but they want to be able to spew whatever they can say. And I think freedom of speech goes both ways. The lady, the blonde. I'm sorry, that's a compliment when you say the blonde, right? What's your name?
I never did that.
So I think you were going here, and about what you said about debating Mark, I just was looking at some quotes because you did say that debates between candidates are a critical part of our democracy. And then you also had said that, this was about Katie Hobbs, that you said she was afraid to debate you, but I think it shows great disrespect not only to the office of the governor, but to the people of Arizona. And I think we really, really want to see a debate between them.
Let me see that. Okay, quotes from Kari. Thank you. That must be from the Mark Land team. Thank you. No, that's great. And I agree with all of that. But I was in a race against Katie Hobbs. I'm 30 to 40 points up on Mark Lamb. We have 7 months to save our country. And I think that I need to spend every second, every penny, every ounce of energy going after Ruben Gallego. You guys know where Mark stands on stuff. I just informed you where he stands on the elections. You know where he stands. You know where I stand. And you guys can make that decision. But I am going to spend every second going after Ruben Gallego. I'm not going to attack Mark Lamb. I'm going to go after Ruben Gallego. This guy's a Marxist. And so I know that you must love Mark, and I appreciate that. And if you vote for him, I hope that when I win, you'll come around and vote for me. Will you do that? Absolutely, thank you. And vote for whoever you want. But I don't think with 7 months left on the clock to save our country that it does us any good. Mark and I probably, in many things, agree. I'm not going to start attacking Mark Lamb. I said he's a good lawman. I wish he would stay as sheriff. I think we need him. I think we frankly need him to start locking up a few people here illegally and not traveling around the state campaigning on the taxpayers' dollar, to be honest. But I am going to debate Ruben Gallego every single day, and I'm going to tell you where he stands on things. He just voted for a $1.7 trillion budget that has a bunch of this gender nonsense, trying to, mutilate our children, tell our boys they can be girls, girls they can be boys. It's crazy. He voted for a $1.7 trillion budget, I think in the last 24 hours. Guess how much money is in there to secure the border and build the border wall? Zero. Literally, the beer or soda you have in front of you, it has more money in it than what would secure our border. So that's who I'm up against. I'm up against Ruben Gallego. I'm not up against Mark Lamb. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about the primary. I know where I stand in the polls. I know exactly what's going on. And I'm going to spend every second of my time going after Ruben Gallego and Joe Biden. Any other questions? How about here? Hold on. Let me come over.
Come on over. Thank you for being here. I'm a 34-year postal veteran, retired. I would like to talk to you about what happens with the ballots when it comes to the postal service.
Oh boy, Wendy, let's connect with this lady. Well, let me just tell you one thing, and I woke up in the middle of the night at like 3. How many of you wake up at